Okay, thank you everyone for coming to the attorneys conference. It's my understanding of the parties, based on the filings to date, that the parties do not agree on a proposed procedural schedule because there is an update expected in June of 2025 on the EPC pricing information. Is that correct? Can you use your microphone for me? That'd be great.
Yes, Your Honor. There is the possibility of a potential update in June or prior thereto.
And then to meet the 240-day deadline, we've got a proposed June 24th hearing date, but the OUCC, the CAC Vote Solar and Reliable Energy would like the opportunity to file supplemental testimony. Is that my understanding once the June EPC update information comes in?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct. Well, at least have the opportunity to file supplemental testimony. We don't know what this update will bring, and we feel we should have the opportunity to be able to review and potentially supplement our testimony if needed.
Given that we have, is there anything else I need? I think I understand where the parties are. Is there anything else that I need to consider that I haven't been told about that isn't in these filings?
No, Your Honor. I don't, well.
Ms. Schultz.
Thank you, Your Honor. There's just a couple pieces I just want to raise as questions and observations that I don't think are before you to Duke Indiana's reply to the joint response. One is that one of the pieces that Duke is representing is that Duke Energy's best estimate of the EPC pricing already includes adequate contingency and reserves to account for post-finalization related changes between now and June of 2025. What isn't clear to me is whether the total $3.3 billion that is associated with the proposed project is a cap, is the not to exceed number, or whether we are facing the possibility that in this update, that $3.3 billion could be exceeded. So that's a question that isn't clear to me, number one. Number two, there is a point in Duke's response that indicates that the Commission is authorized by statute to conduct ongoing review after the CPCN is issued, ensuring that any changes are evaluated before costs can be recovered. My observation of that is, while that is true, that's after the CPCN has been authorized. There is a potential that when we see a cost update, depending on the magnitude of that cost update, that could render the CPCN's issuance not in the public interest to begin with. And if we wait until after the CPCN has been issued to consider the magnitude of that updated cost, the toothpaste is out of the tube. It is too late to go back and undo the granting of the CPCN. And it's because of that cadence that the consumer parties are asking for the opportunity to comment and submit potentially additional testimony after we see that update. Because at the post-CPCN stage, it's too late. The CPCN has been granted. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. We understand the parties' arguments, but I think at this stage, I think Ms. Schultz, you've raised some excellent points that discovery probably should happen, and so people can figure out what it is Duke's request is and whether there's support for Duke's request in this, because they bear the burden of proof. We also keep in mind the fact that we have a 240-day statutory deadline within which to issue this order, and so at this time, I think we'll move forward with the proposed procedural schedule that Duke has offered. But we do want to modify a couple of dates because we can't impose those. And by setting a procedural schedule now, it does not at all prohibit anybody's ability to later request a request for an extension of time or a continuance of any time should the circumstances warrant it. willing to consider for good cause any such request. So the fact that we're moving forward with Duke's proposed schedule as opposed to adding additional time for a supplemental filing that we don't find cause to exist to add right now doesn't mean we won't consider that in the future. So given that, the June 24th hearing date doesn't work because that is the week of the MARC conference, which is here in Indianapolis. So we're probably looking at the week of June 30, which basically is a week later. So if the parties would like to move some of their filing dates by a week later, we can do that as well. Yep, that is July 4th week. Are you around? As far as you know.
Your Honor, I think the week of June 30 is not going to work for Duke Energy. Would it be possible to go before, let's see, what week would that be? The week of June 16th? Maybe the end of that week?
I know, Your Honor, I do have some witness availability issues on the 17th, 18th, and 20th of that week.
June 19th?
Need 2 days.
June 19th.
Oh. That works for Duke Energy.
Yeah, I think if we are able to accommodate my specific witness for the 19th, then that would be.
Oh, did you say the 19th? I thought you said the 17th and 18th.
The 17th and 18th and the 20th don't work for my witness.
Are better. Oh,
I'm sorry, yes,
No,
they do not work.
she's saying the 19th works. The other 3 dates
If you
don't.
do the 19th, then I can accommodate my witness, if she's
Yeah,
crossed.
we can work with Jennifer too if we need to even see her witness.
Okay. Then what, we will have the OUCC and interveners filing on May 8th. Petitioner filing its rebuttal on May 29th. OUCC and interveners cross-answering also on May 29th. Any settlement agreement and supporting evidence by June 5th. I'm looking to staff. With a hearing on June 19th, if the settlement comes in on June 5th. So the hearing would be June 19th in room 222 at 9:30. And then we can back up proposed orders. Petitioner files its proposed order on June 26th. OUCC and interveners on July 10. Petitioner's reply on July 17. And then we also have the outstanding request for field hearings, so we'll address that as well.
Your Honor, could I ask, could we reserve an extra day for the hearing? I'm a little concerned with just having one hearing date.
We can do that. The 20th, next. I'll reserve the 19th and 20th then.
Looking to petitioner council, since we are moving up some of these dates and having between May 29th and June 19th for the hearing date, council, would you be open to helping us expedite? I know we'll drop down to the 5 business days after rebuttal, but to the extent we can, that will cut us down to what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, Jennifer, do you mind clarifying?
That would be down to 3 weeks. Let's see, sorry, while I do calendar math. And since we have the last calendar, since the schedule, I mean, I guess, you know, it says last discovery due date 2 days before, so that leaves us what, 6? Only 12 business days. Would you be open to doing 4 business days, or can we work with you to expedite responses during that time frame? Between rebuttal and the hearing. Okay. Yes. Yeah, if we can shorten. Right, especially with the provision in here that has the last discovery response due date.
I think, as always, we'd be willing to work with you. Sorry, thank you. Council, you know, as always, we're willing to expedite. I don't know if, given that the way, you know, we typically work with Discovery, if I would agree to, I don't know if can agree to something less than 5 days, but we can.
Maybe best efforts 4 days,
Correct.
and to the extent you need 5.
Well, I don't know if I would, I'm not going to commit to 4 days in any fashion, but what I can commit to is we will work to expedite with the understanding if we're getting close to the hearing, we need to try to go a little faster if we can to get it to you before the hearing.
I'm concerned about getting new information in June and then not being able to do adequate discovery before the hearing date. So I really appreciate the bench's previous note about, you know, we can file if there's a big change. However, if we're not able to really get enough information about the details about the change, it's going to be really difficult for us during that month. But
I hope all parties use their best efforts to timely respond to discovery, regardless of deadlines, and not wait until the last day and time possible, and be courteous of each other.
And I do have one last question. On the Kiewit June update date, does the company have a specific date that will have, you know, what date are they providing the company in your contract with? Or do you have a specific date on when we might receive this new information?
We don't have an exact date, but we're hoping even prior to June and May. So it's possible that it could be prior to June 1.
And the company will be able to provide that information to us within 1 or 2 business days?
We will absolutely, you know, provide it as quickly as we're able and work with you on that. But
We'll do our best. This is going to be a tricky situation, but thank you.
Okay. Anything further we need to discuss? Okay, then I'll be issuing a docket entry with the procedural schedule to go forward. Thank you, everyone.
thank you, Your Honors.